is no investigation. This boy has...
There is not, really? This to me.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I had to put her on the side and where
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
There is no investigation. This boy
There
has...
is not, really? This to me. Right, idiot.
I've done my best. It's hard, you know, that's real tough.
But I had to put her on the side and where with the boys.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Live from the NBD Production Studios, you're in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no investigation. This boy has...
There is not, really? This to me. But I had to put her on the side and where with the boys. But I had to...
There is no investigation.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I had to put her... But I had to put her on the side and where with the boys.
Welcome to the lab, everybody. I'm your host, Joshua Diaz. It is great to be here with you on a Sunday night. Thank you to everybody coming over from the interview room. Fantastic show as always. What a great panel. A lot of expertise on display there. And I hope that we can appreciate it for what it is. I know that you guys that were watching do appreciate it. As do I. It is Sunday, June 26th, 7:04 here on the West Coast. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all the new subscribers. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel more than you'll ever know. I appreciate it, and thank you again. The TIR family coming in and Lab Rats. We're united. We're one big group, and you guys are so awesome. And the guest that we're all here to talk to, Chris McDonough. What's going on, Chris?
Josh, aloha, brother.
You're just you're a machine.
It's great to be in the tube, the Lab Rat test tube.
Yeah.
Post conversation. I sure respect what you've got cooking over here. And if anybody's over here that was just with us over at TIR, hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up right now, because I just think it's important that we drive Josh to the next level, because he is that guy. He's a very cool dude, and we have a lot of conversations during the week, and this becomes something that's pretty important to me too, simultaneously. So how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Great show, great panel. You guys killed it, and no pun intended, as we were talking about, serial predators and things like that. But it's heavy. It's heavy stuff, but people need to know this, because the predators are out there. They are out there in full effect, folks. And it gets, the more intertangled we are in society via the internet, the more that you got to know. We got to know. And I'm glad that there are people like you and Coop and Dean and Tom, who bring that kind of awareness. And I'm happy to be associated with that movement, because it's very, very important. and it means a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree. I mean, meaning, the book that we talked about tonight, but even more importantly, just having access to, the team that does what we do, and then having the truth, capabilities of putting information out there, and that's the unique thing. We heard from, you hear from Coop tonight, and you have to remember that in front of him are classrooms of detectives, homicide detectives, from around the world, and here he is, coming on YouTube to talk about some of the principles, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's pretty they're just unbelievable, and a wealth of knowledge. And we'll talk about a few different things tonight. We'll talk about Don's beautiful letter that he wrote for the 1 year anniversary. We'll talk the reward fund, because there's stuff coming up about that as well. And I'd love to hear from you how you feel about reward funds and how they have impacted investigations that you've worked on over the years. I don't know anything about them other than what's happening. I've looked into it and do have an understanding of what's happening with the Summerwells reward fund, and people need to listen when we explain this. But before any of that,
okay, wait a minute. Wait. What kind of sauce would you like?
84% ketchup, 60%.
Okay. All right, everybody. Here he goes.
Okay.
We haven't. Wait a minute. Let me look at the time. It's been 7 minutes, and probably 2 minutes of that was intro.
Yeah.
So we're less than 5 into it, and then probably 3 of that was meet and greet. Kissing baby, shaking hands, and so we're down to 120 seconds. What do you got, Josh?
Man, I got to get it out of the way, because my findings, I get really excited. I find stuff. That's what I do. And you have lived a remarkable life, Chris. Things that people wouldn't know unless I went to the library and looked up old microfilms. And I mean, it's kind of like you're kind of the opposite of. Remember like Forrest Gump, how he had such an interesting. You're kind of like.
Well, he's my cousin.
Yeah, I figured
Forrest is my cousin.
And you're like the Curious Case of Benjamin Button, but like normal, because he had an interest. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense, because he was a old man that became a baby, but you were a baby first. So,
yep. Yeah, they slapped my mother when I was born.
I feel so bad for her.
Well, they rolled me over and told her she had twins.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense too. Real cute. Real look at that little baby face. All right.
I can't wait.
Well, me neither. So I've just been looking through some stuff, and I came across a few photos that might interest everybody. And
are these the ones everybody else has on other channels about?
No, that's the thing, is that unless you go to the library, you can't find them.
Okay, library. Here we go.
Yeah. So
I can't wait.
This is.
You found this?
Yeah, you were at I believe this was the Oscars, and that looks like Brad Pitt in the back there with.
Yep, Brad and I get along great. And
Brad's
Ellen.
good. Ellen. We got Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey. He should probably be in prison. Julia Roberts. Is that Meryl Streep? You know Meryl?
What can I say? It was, that was a heavy night. In fact, I wore that Aloha shirt to the Oscars, and at first they wouldn't let me in because I didn't have a tux on.
Right.
But as you can tell, that didn't work.
Yeah. I was going to say, nice shirt, Hawaii boy. Like, you could have dressed up a little bit more. But I didn't know that you ran in such big circles. I knew that you had connections, but apparently you just have all the connections. And
Well, in this particular picture, it makes it look like I do know all of them,
yeah.
but I was on a security detail.
Well, why are
that's
you
why
taking the
this
selfie?
picture is so important. Yeah,
You're the one
no,
that took the- that's got to
Ellen
be
asked
in
me
photo.
not to. She told me not to reveal it.
Well, I found it. You can't hide from me. But wait, there's more.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, there's more.
Come here, bud. I look like Ricky Schroeder. Exactly. It's like, oh, it's Ricky Schroeder. Yeah, join in. You join in. Keep going. I love it.
Okay.
Come here.
Okay. So here's the
Don't see
next.
Dad. Wait, where was I? Did you follow me? Or are these clippings at the library?
Yes, this one is. The other one I had to actually go to the museum. It's actually in Belfast, England.
No,
And-
Ireland. Ireland.
No, look, man. There's two Belfasts. Okay,
Okay.
you're
Belfast,
right. It's
England.
England. I said Ireland.
Okay.
You got me frustrated now because I'm like trying not to laugh. But Belfast, Ireland, there is a museum there, and it keeps some of the best historical photos you've ever seen. This one in particular comes from 1912. So, Chris, that would make you 192 years old.
Correct.
And
With a moderate lisp.
there you go. So
I love this picture. It's been so long since
it's
I've
on the
seen
deck
this.
of the Titanic.
Yes.
And
that's right.
Karen, this is far before Chris met you, so don't get jealous.
No, she's gorgeous in that picture.
Yeah. And your head is abnormally large.
As typical.
Yeah. It's
Typical.
humongous.
Just ask anybody on YouTube. Typical.
Your head is completely humongous there. And she is gazing into your eyes like,
Yes.
I mean, why is your head so big?
When Karen and I were dating, I didn't tell her about this photo, but
Yeah,
now
I
that
wouldn't
it's
either.
out, she's going to be mad at me.
Right.
But yes, Kate was, she was very kind to me. As
No,
you
it's
can tell,
Rose.
look how she's looking. It's like,
It's Rose.
I
It's
can
been so
see-
long that you don't
she's
remember.
looking through my ears.
Yeah.
And she sees the air or the light on the other side. You notice she's looking right through my ears. And so there's light.
Yeah.
There's it's empty.
She's
and-
using your ears to look for the iceberg.
Correct.
Telescope.
Correct. Yes, absolutely 100%. And but you know what? I was in the best shape of my life. Look how I'm cut right there.
You look fantastic. You look like you have one cheat day, carbs only cheat day.
Yes. Yeah, no, that was abs and biceps that day.
Yeah, I mean it makes complete and total sense. Yeah, I bet you wish you never made fun of my corn dogs, huh? So we got one more.
Does that complete your order?
It doesn't actually, because I have one more thing to add.
Okay, keep going.
And apparently I also didn't know that you were a bit of a cowboy, you would say. And I always, one of your catchphrases that I've always loved was, "This isn't my first rodeo." And you've kind of made it your own. And I was looking back and I didn't know that you were a double, like a stunt double on the set of the movie 8 Seconds. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie before, but it's a movie about bull riding and things like that.
Oh, okay.
And so I
I must have hit my head. I don't remember it. Oh, it's all not my first rodeo. Yes, well,
Yeah.
there's not much to say about this one. The hat speaks for itself.
I mean, you look serious.
I was in. I was on it that
You were-
night.
Is that the same shirt you wore to the Grammys? or the Oscars? Sorry.
No, that's a NASCAR shirt, even though it looks like a Wrangler shirt.
Yeah.
I was racing race cars after that,
Yeah.
after the rodeo. Yes, it's close to the same shirt, but it's a little different.
Sans
It's a
the
little
hat, right?
When was the first rodeo? Yeah,
This wasn't your first rodeo, apparently. Apparently, you had done a rodeo before this.
I
So-
had done a rodeo before this, and
This was your second rodeo
that night,
that night. And then people were like, do you know what you're doing? And then you screamed to the crowd, this isn't my first rodeo.
that's right.
Not my first rodeo.
That's right. That's
And then it was
exactly
born.
what happened. No, and it worked. And the people were like, they started throwing stuff for a little while, but then they realized, oh wow, this is a good guy. He's not, the person we thought he was. And,
Yeah.
it calmed down. And by the way, I was roping an RSO running away
Yeah.
from the corral. And so I was coming after him, and I had that rope going, and man, I hooked him up, rolled him over, and I said, where's your ankle bracelet? And he said, this isn't your first rodeo, is it? I said, no, it's not. It is not. So
It's not your
we'll keep
first
going. Do you have more?
No, thank God.
I'm
Not tonight. I don't. But I got some stored away, so don't worry. There's
funny.
more to come.
Well, I sure love all the stuff that you are putting together. And had I not had an opportunity, or had I had the opportunity, if we wouldn't have gone so long,
Thanks.
I
Coop.
had some treats ready, but I don't have them ready. So,
I'm so happy to hear that.
no, the next time I'm here, I'm sure they'll present themselves.
Sure.
By the way, how I saw Mary's Corn Dogs.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Yes.
Fantastic.
She it's funny, when she was doing the corn dogs, she was like, I hope they turn out okay. And I was thinking, maybe like, what if they fall apart or something? And then like my episode, I ruined it for her. She was acting like she didn't know what she was doing, and then they came out absolutely perfect.
Yeah, no, her cooking is unbelievable. It's really, I mean, I had her, we made her, what was it? The meatloaf.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
And,
made her meatloaf too. Use the chips and everything. Is that, didn't you say that you ended up in the emergency room after the meatloaf?
It was shortly thereafter, but it wasn't Mary's. It wasn't Mary's.
Aaron. And now you know.
It was
now
a
you know why
slashed
you miss
corn
Rose.
dog, hot dog.
That's why you miss Rose so much, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I like how you called her Kate, but her name's Rose. And I'm guessing because it was 1912, you had some trouble remembering.
Yes, of course. Yes, it's been so long, and my mind is not as clear as it used to be. Even though I testified in trial recently.
Yeah.
So
the first 192-year-old man to do so.
yes,
And
absolutely.
You look not a day past 45. So
Well, I appreciate that.
maybe
I really
you are
do.
pressing the button.
No,
But
I
you are
mean,
making
I have a routine. I wake up and, I pop open, a box of corn dogs, throw it in the microwave, 30 seconds in the morning.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
It's lit. And I'm like holding this power of energy, endurance, longevity. It's all sitting right there on a stick.
You eat corn dogs for breakfast?
And lunch and dinner, don't you? Come on. Where
Well,
where are we going?
You know I do.
And look at this nut job. How's Otis doing?
Otis is ripping tree branches off of trees and trying to bring them through the dog door sideways. And he's been a busy boy digging holes. So he's fantastic. He's living. He did the dumbest thing I've ever seen a dog do. And I've seen my share. He got so excited the other day that he rolled onto his back and then peed all over himself.
Oh.
And it looked like, it looked like, where are those hot springs that explode in, I can't even remember, but Old Faithful. I was devastated. I was just like, Otis, like, has Buddy ever done anything like that?
No. It as you can tell, he wanted to go for a walk, so Karen, hooked him up, and this little jumper thing that he has his own little bags in it.
Right.
So he schleps those bags around like the 1st Marine Division, and when he's done with his business, we're able to just unzip and do what we do. And but no, he has not done that. But in Hawaii, there's a place in Oahu called the Blowhole, where the water hits up against the lava, and it shoots the ocean up into the air, and it's pretty exciting to see if you've never seen it. But maybe he was thinking that he had a lot of pressure internally coming in on him, and he let go.
Yeah, he had a lot of sun. I mean, he just but he's fully recovered from his snip snap, and he looked great in a cone. What can I say? Fantastic.
The coma shame.
Yeah, isn't it the best?
It's
the best. And at that point, because he runs my life, basically, when I put that cone on him, I felt like I took my power back at least for a couple days. And then I took the cone off of him, and he has been a bad boy ever since. So but in all honesty, he is a great dog, and is starting to listen to commands. And I know he does hiss people. He's got his problems, but I make him out to be one he is mischievous. Don't get me wrong. He tried to steal the veterinarian's stethoscope from her. And so he's got his little quirks, but I think he's 9 months now. And I got him when he was 8 weeks old. He no longer messes in the house. He's fully potty trained. And that's really all we can ask for Otis. And we got there. So he's A-okay. Thank God. But yeah, thank you for asking. And I do have, and I will play it. I don't know, one of the shows, but I have recordings of him hissing when when he's playing. He goes, he makes this weird pterodactyl noise. It's like, and I go, well, what was that? And he just goes, and you hear it from kind of his lyrics. You hear this, and I'm going, are you in pain? But he's like trying to be aggressive, but he doesn't know how. So he makes this weird, like slow door creaking noise like that. And it's
you've seen the show with Manuel, right?
Yeah.
The doctor, and it comes down the leash.
They could not.
Did you not miss? Did you miss the part where he says it goes right down the leash to the dog?
Yeah,
so what Otis is doing, and what I don't think you're telling, the
you
the
think
audience.
I hiss and make that noise?
I'm not saying that yet, but I think we're getting close. But no, I think maybe Otis is going, oh, I've heard that before.
Yeah, he does copy some stuff. That is true.
Like an Ewok.
He's got those little weird ears, man. He's funny. So, well, let's get into it tonight, Chris. Not that we haven't been, but so we have a couple things to talk about in the Summer Wells case. We'll just kick it off here. The beautifully handwritten letter that we talked about. I think we talked about it last week. And the more I looked at it, the stranger it was, because it was supposed to be a letter to Summer, and yet he signs it Don Wells, like it's some statement about whatever. And then unsolicited, he comes out about the reward fund, say, I got to keep the reward fund going. I said this on my show last time that I don't believe for a second that was his idea. I think he had a little bit of help. Does it come off as disingenuous to anybody else? These landmark dates and then him giving what is just some half sort of effort. And then it seems to always kind of come back around, to him. Do you feel any of that?
Yes. I mean, we keep talking about the gift that keeps on giving. And, that letter in of itself, I don't know if you've seen Steve over at Truth to Lies. Can I say that?
Oh yeah, and put Steve's link in the chat as well if we could, mods. He runs a wonderful program, and I hope he starts doing it more often. But yes, please.
Yeah, he broke that down, but at the same time, initially when you see, how again it's presented, and then who's the delivery mechanism? Who delivered that? Right? Do we know? Do you know? Because I don't know.
The letter? Yeah.
How did it? Yeah. Who brought it out from the
Tim
jail?
Mullins.
Oh, the calendar guy.
Yeah, him.
Okay, yeah. So the calendar man.
Yeah.
Is the guy who delivers this to the public.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, so him and I had a little short conversation about that, and I asked him if he wrote that letter for Don, and he says he says, luckily, I'm not easy to offend, and I said, lucky for me. I mean, I wasn't looking to offend. I was asking a real question. If he thinks that Don is some thoughtful father, I just cannot agree with that. I just can't. Now, I don't know what his involvement in is. And he has told me, and other people have told me that we spin our wheels on Don, and you've heard it as well as I have. I'm not spinning my wheels on anybody. I'm calling it like I see it. Don is not the father that he wants people to think he is. He never has been. And he, without some prompt from his media manager, these days would just come and go without a second thought. I'm sorry that's just how I feel. And, he told me that my horse was stuck in the mud on Don. To me, and this is me, I feel like his whole thing is for some reason trying to protect and counsel Don, because Candace doesn't like him flat out. She doesn't even want to talk to him. He won't even talk about her to me at all. Just won't. So I get this feeling that, I guess everybody needs friends, right? That's just.
Yeah. I mean, it's, okay. So, what does stuck in the mud mean? What exactly? I mean, whenever that concept comes that, you're stuck on Don. Well, I've been saying from the very beginning, there are two trains here. And do you remember, Josh? I mean,
absolutely.
And what were the two trains, if you remember?
It was the Summer Wells case in Utah.
Right. There's two trains, and they're
I think
both
there's three trains. I think that Rose Bly.
Yeah, exactly. But those two, that train there, could have another station to it. But these two trains, there's a common denominator among both of them, and that unfortunately, if you're going to be riding a horse into the mud, then the last thing you want to do is your horse named Don. Okay, because for some reason that horse keeps getting stuck in the mud.
Yeah,
and you can't move it when it keeps getting in the mud. And this letter is another perfect example of that. I mean, the whole letter in of itself turned into the Don show, and then let's all bow our heads, and pray to God, okay, the good Lord, and he invokes the highest of all those of prayers in Christianity anyway,
Mhm.
that not like the Shema in Judaism, but in this particular case, he's out there saying, everybody focus on me for a little bit, and by the way, I'm going to bring God into this. Okay. Well, does he believe he's higher than God, that he has to invoke the Lord's Prayer? I don't know. This is just a question, right? Why? And Steve breaks it down pretty clearly. It's like, the everything turned right around to that horse being in the mud. Well, we definitely know what facts exist on that horse, and those facts are clear, are very clear.
Yeah. And I followed that up with when he told me that my horse was stuck in the mud with Dawn. I said, well, what about Candace? Is my horse stuck in the mud there? And no response. And then I said, your silence is deafening to me. Now, I don't know what Tim knows, but I'm assuming he knows a bit more, probably. He goes to visit Don in the jail and talks to him and delivers his letters for him, and they're friends. They are friends. Nobody, I don't even know if he's denying that, but I do think that he is trying to protect Don or help Don because of that reason. And Candace has never, ever wanted that help. She's not really a, help me out kind of person. And you tried to help her out a few different times, and that help is still being offered.
Yeah,
to Candace.
I'm not going away.
Not going away. This is something that has to come to an end because it's going to get figured out. It is. It's going to get figured out. And the people that are responsible for this will be held accountable. I truly, truly believe that. And as, what was his name? Dean,
Mhm.
as he so eloquently put it, these things take time, and it is frustrating for the public, and sometimes even in this case, the Don and Candace don't really seem to care how long it's taking, but the public and a lot of families, it is hard to deal with this, and so, but it is a slow crawl, and I do believe that it's going to be resolved. But Candace does watch the show. And, we would just, as always, and always encourage, it's talk to somebody, help the investigation. If your daughter really went missing by somebody that you truly believe that, or that she wandered off or whatever, people can actually help you. Nobody's going to try and pin something on you that you didn't do. That's not what we're here for. Now, yes, am I accusatory? I certainly am. You're not. You never have been. I've been accusatory towards Don and Candace, but you're a much classier guy than I am. I just see what I see. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not quite as nice as you are, but that video that you put up of you talking to her and all the grace that you have shown her, I think that it would be advantageous of her to reach out to you.
Well, I hope that she will, because I look at it through the lens of experience in relationship to how folks find themselves, just inundated with guilt, with, all of this other stuff. And what I saw that day down at the water hole, from the moment I met her, you can see it. And I released that recently, so that she would remember the power of that first relationship building opportunity between the two of us. And when we left and we went down, to the Warrior Park, and we went down by the water, there was really a feeling of trust between the two of us. Because she started off with that comment in the very beginning of that video. You can hear her say, well, I really don't trust anybody.
Yes, I heard that, but I didn't understand it.
Yeah. Well, that's a life experience statement. That's not talking about, just me standing in front of her from, YouTube or anything like that. This comes from a deep seated mistrust, and it's a defense mechanism. But at the same time, she's wearing that Paw Patrol, shirt, right?
Yeah. How ironic.
So I believe empathy is much more powerful in these types of cases, and helping versus, yelling and screaming and coming at people, that way, who have committed the potentially, at that point, we didn't know. I mean, this was like 3 weeks after Summer disappeared. And I wasn't going to step into a landmine where investigators are working behind the scenes, and I'm, just trying to do a concept of helping this family. And I think what people, just to lay the foundation for that, you remember where I was previous to that, right, Josh? Remember, I was in the other side of Tennessee.
Yeah.
With
you were
Brian,
on another case, right?
Yeah, with Francis Gain and Brian McKenzie. Okay. And we had just built, some strategy on that poor mom. At that point, would have been looking for her son for almost a year, every weekend. Okay. Kind of like Maya Miliete. And we came up with a strategy. She had reached out, and I, from the Cold Case Foundation, went to meet with her. And lo and behold, the strategy was find the car. If we find the car, we'll find Brian, because of some of the other information we have behind the scenes. And I get a phone call, literally. Hey, are you in Tennessee? Yeah. Okay. Well, have you heard about this little girl over there? Maybe you should go over there and meet with the family to see if, there's anything there. So that's how I ended up in this thing.
Right.
And that was the first meeting up there on the grounds. I talked to her a couple of times on the phone, and she was very delightful. She said, I'm working, I can't do this, I can't do that today. And that's when you hear me say on the tape at the park, well, yeah, you told me the truth, okay, which she did on that piece of the puzzle. But from the get-go, I've always felt that she wants to tell us more. There's more there. And
I've heard her say that.
Yeah, she did. She has. And when she's intoxicated is when she says it.
Right.
Unfortunately. But that statement of I don't trust anybody is a statement of, there's this position of, wait a minute, I'm not sure if I can trust you yet. But the rest, falls into place when she realizes that, okay, I'm only seeking what are the facts here? What's the fact pattern in relation to your little girl, your daughter? And then when all that information provided itself and came to the get-go, there were some huge gaps. And a lot of those gaps in her mind dealt with H and the family who I had previously interviewed before her. And she wanted to fill those gaps in. And so the rest is, what's up on YouTube. I put it all out there. There are some things that I still am holding, and it's not to milk the case and all this other stuff, but there's patience in strategy. And, if you put everything on the table, well, then how are you going to refute when people are lying? And so far, the reason I hold back information is so that if strategically it's necessary to keep things moving and Summer's name doesn't get lost. Because what happens when we run out of information on Don Williams or Don Wells? What's going to happen to Don? What's he going to do? I'll give you a hint. Okay. Did you see his look when Dr. Phil strategically planted the verbiage of, we're not really worried about you.
Yeah.
But have you listened to the words and how he said it?
Yeah, he was very deliberate about Dawn.
Yeah.
And not so much Candace.
And if you listen carefully, what everybody thinks of him taking him off the hook actually put him on the hook.
Right. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Yeah. He was
Right.
the relief that it was so weird, his physical reaction to when they told Don, it was almost like it. And then I always go back to the night, and I know that he was drunk, but the fact is they're always drunk. So that doesn't really matter. A lot is when I can't get it out of my head when he says, I have 7 alibis. Candace ain't got none. She's going down. Now, I've said this before. This is one of two things. He's the biggest jerk ever and is mocking her. Which, I mean, there was some mockage there going on, or he knows something. So it's either him just being a turd like he always is, not just a nice person. And anybody that would say that about their missing daughter is one of the craziest things I've ever heard. And by the way, it goes along with the crack fairy and Spackle Me Spackleton and, all his just ridiculous antics. And it's almost like sometimes, and I've just this is just my opinion. I think Don's an after the fact guy here a little bit in a way. But his antics are ridiculous nonetheless. He's done things in his past that are horrible and he needs to pay for those. But I've always thought Candace was kind of the Candace and Grandis. I mean, they're the ones that admit to being with Summer when she went missing. Don won't put himself there. And I think that if this is, again, my opinion, if Don was there, I don't think that Candace and Grandis would have a problem saying that at the time. Let's throw everybody else under the bus. I mean, she even said that she had suspects, her own suspects, I mean, if you listen here,
Man, I'm not 150% of chance of anything doing with this. I don't know. I can't tell you because I don't know. I have a lot of suspicion. I have a problem with Allie, Jose, Jody Sue, Andy, Donnie. I mean, I could list a whole bunch of people.
But nowhere in there do you hear Candace, because if all those people are suspicious, how is she not suspicious at all? You're the last one seen with her. And that's such a ridiculous accusation to just throw that stuff out there. And I mean, she went through everybody she could think of, Chris. Deflection at its finest. What say you?
I think that was well played, Josh. Good job. And the idea behind what she said, if you tie it into the statement the question I had with her at the water hole, what are the odds? And I asked her, what say you? And how does a mother who's determined to know what happened to her daughter, how does she answer it? 50-50 or whatever. I forget what the number was, right? But it was
It was 50-50.
50-50, right?
Which is basically, I don't know.
Well, it was basically, I'm not telling.
Right. It was a non-answer. It wasn't an answer.
Right. And so as a result of that, you step back and you go, okay, well, let me get this right. Okay. And this is why I think it's important for us to empathize in relationship to Candace. Not empathize with what's happened or potentially could happen or the circumstances around what's happening. Okay. But empathize on a humanistic, on a different level. I can't tell you how many murderers I've sat with. And then, at the end of it, they've looked over and said, you didn't beat me up, i.e., verbally. Okay. And a lot of people are going to be disappointed when one day I release the videos of the Crow interviews. They're going to be really upset because what you see here is what was seen. What you see on the TV is other people, Mark Risley, Ralph Glader. I'm not even in the room. But where I'm going with this is the kind of stuff that, just it perpetuates itself and it just explodes into places that it doesn't belong. And people have exploded all around her. And what we need to do is step back. And that's why I released the piece that I did the other day on, look, Candace, and I hope you're listening, Candace, tonight. I really do. If you're in here, I hope you return my phone calls because I've been calling her. And because the timing of this is getting close with Don, getting out of jail, and the deeper, the deeper you stick to it till it sticks to you, the worst, thing that can happen is all the wheels start falling off the bus and the calendar guy can't help anybody at that point because it's too late. Then you're going to release a press release, that things have happened. And so it's important to remember that even though she doesn't want to say right now, she does know there's more information there. There's more information there. And she made that clear. And she made that very clear. And just in the fact, go ahead.
No, she said it. I mean, she said she wanted to tell more.
Yeah. Do you have that clip?
I don't, but I need to get it on there because it's a fascinating clip.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and Don was right over her shoulder.
Yeah, trying to comfort her.
Well, he was trying to control her.
Well, when I say comfort and control, some people call it, or most people call it a second-degree felony. Don calls it comforting because he's a turd.
Yeah. I mean, he's in jail for a reason.
It's because I like to drink and drive and break the law. And then I get out and I spackle, and then I sleep on a mattress with no bed sheets, and my kids do too. Like, it's just like, why would anybody want to be his friend or take up for him? I don't get it. Like, I don't really get it.
Well, there's a lot of dysfunctionality going on there, alcohol and drugs. And it's not that they're bad. Now, Don's a bad person. He's a career criminal. I'll give him that one. Okay. But, not everybody into alcohol or drugs are bad people. They just do stupid things and bad things.
Yeah. Like hand out crack in Knoxville.
Well, I had a case, exactly. Going up to Knoxville. So remember that I sold Was it $2,000 worth of crack for TBI on the
He didn't
the
sell
narcotics?
anything. He said he gave it away.
Yeah, right. As if
And
that was
that was his way to prove that he didn't need to sell his daughter. Chris, duh.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's
I
the
mean, it's
stupidest
like,
thing I've ever heard in my life.
okay, we all fell off a turnip truck. That was a good one. Put it on the board. But again, it's the gift that keeps on giving. This is
I done my best.
kind of
It's hard. That's real tough.
exactly. You can't make that up. This is the strangest thing. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, but it's good, even though it seems bad. It's good.
Right.
The more stuff keeps coming into the environment from the calendar guy, that just makes it much more solid for the investigation, because that letter now becomes evidence, and they hand it over to a guy like Steve. Go
He's
ahead.
trying to say that he's the meteor for our family, but I don't. Well, why do you need a meteor for my family? Like,
And he might as well be. He might as well be Rocket Man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, and if Don was working, okay, great. Don was working. I'm still not convinced that there's not enough time,
I'm not either.
to co-conspire. There's a co-conspiracy going on here.
I'm not either. And let me really quick say, and I wanted to thank somebody, Be Botanical, for donating money, for gifting memberships to this channel. And people, if you do, make sure, if you're not a member, to opt in to the receive gift option, because we do have people that do gift memberships for you. And soon we're going to start doing one day a week that is going to be a members only thing at first, and then we'll release it to everybody. But you will be getting exclusive content and documentaries and things like that through the membership. So make sure to opt in. And I can see Linda just donated 5 new memberships, and they go to the top fans who aren't members yet. YouTube knows who they are. So it's such a cool thing, and we can make sure that we keep doing that. And I'll be gifting memberships as well, because you guys are so awesome, and it's a great thing.
Because God understands our human brain.
Does that complete your order?
In all honesty, that was a complete accident, but it worked out perfect.
That was perfect. No, hit it again.
That's because God understands our human brain.
That's right, because he made it.
Yes. I mean, he's a kind of
Okay. Okay.
Certainly.
All right.
He's kind of a smart guy, I mean, he's got a little bit of, but anyway, it really is lovely. And so Be Botanical, Linda, and there was another person, but just really awesome. So I believe if down at the bottom where I'm not exactly sure, but if somebody could explain that in the chat, how to opt in for that, that would be awesome. So you have to make it so you can receive that. And there's a lot of giving people on here. So thank you so much for doing that. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the reward fund, and I've covered this a bit. Why do reward funds expire?
Because if the information isn't coming to the surface quickly, then that money just sits there, and it could be very risky in relationship to accountability.
Corruption.
Yeah, accountability.
So are you familiar with what's going on with the reward fund?
I mean, I've heard, but I don't know.
So the Churchill Rescue Squad, who is in charge of this,
Right.
has now turned it over to the court. They've given the money to the court.
Good move.
Isn't it the greatest, smartest thing that they could do? And they say basically, so they got a hold of there were a few big donors, and they said, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to return this or that? So they retained counsel, and I'm sure that they have a lawyer on hand or whatever. And it was recommended to them that they just turn it over to the court, civil or whatever, and let them decide. And now you have people, and I've seen it down in Tennessee, that I've seen people on the ground there saying that they're trying to use it for all kinds of new stuff, basketball courts and da da da. That's not what's happening here. Okay. And the court could very well extend this, this reward fund, but it's going to be up to the court, and they do it for a transparency reason. Is that your experience with this?
Yes, and this is why I don't get involved with any, things. And now I did, believe this or not, I did donate $50 to Summer's reward fund through the Mishigosh that's going on in another place. Okay.
Right.
And, now to me, I don't care about that money, because if somebody needed it more than me, then good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
But the other side of it, if it did go to help her, then fine. That's why I did it.
Sure.
Now, that aside, for me, I stay away from all of that stuff, and for obvious reasons, right? I don't need that concept. The victims need people who are interested in helping provide information that would help find that victim. And for some people, the reward fund is good, but law enforcement as a whole can go to Crime Stoppers today and get anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 in the blink of an eye. And by the way, it's federal money. Sometimes, it can even go further. There's a lot of private people that set up, and since social media has been up in arms, when all of these GoFundMe things, the perfect example is Maya Miliete. When we did the GoFund, they had a GoFundMe page that was legit. And I didn't touch a dime. It went right through.
I remember that. I remember when they were on there, and it went directly to them. You said, don't send me anything.
I want nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm. And the reason I bring this up is because sometimes I get frustrated with the whole corruption theories. And by all accounts, I don't know these people, but by all accounts, the Churchill Rescue Group is doing fantastic work, and they do fantastic work. And for people to just, throw those things out there the way that they do, it's we both of us have had our character questioned before. I mean, it's just kind of part of being in the public eye sometimes, on YouTube, people, rightfully so, whatever, but it's like these nonprofit like organizations, and then they go, well, why are they turning it over to the court? Well, what else are they going to do with it? I mean, honestly, what else are they going to do with it?
Well, and you got to step back, right? I mean, these are the folks that were first on the scene when Summer went missing. And now all of a sudden they got $73,000 or whatever the number is. It's a substantial number.
Right.
Right. All of a sudden they're going to wake up one day and decide, you know what? We need a new basketball court. Hey, Frank. Yeah. Hey, Tim. What do we got in the reward fund for Summer, who's still missing? And did I tell you it is an international case being scrutinized, and every single word is being listened to? You know what? Today is the day. We're not only going to buy the hoop, okay, but we're going to buy an entire parking lot and then, put stripes on it. How much do we got?
Right.
I mean, have we really gone that far? And so I think it's a wise move for them to turn it over to the court and say, Your Honor, here's the funding, here's the bank, and let the court determine what to do with it.
Absolutely. And Matt Willis just gifted 5 more memberships. Thank you so much for doing that, Matt. You guys are, I know people really do appreciate that. So nice of you. But yeah, it's full transparency. It's the way it should be. They even came out and made a statement about it. I do reward funds in your opinion and experience, do they work? I mean, did you have a case where the reward fund money made a difference?
No, we never paid out a reward fund.
I always do wonder about that. It doesn't, I know the sentiment and I understand why, but I don't even know of an instance where they do. And I mean, you've worked hundreds.
Look at McLeod, who's on the U.S. Marshals Most Wanted list, right? He's got a $50,000 bounty on him. $50,000 to pick up the phone and call the U.S. Marshals. He's been on the run forever, for quite some time. So we'll look at Whitey Bulger from, back in the day. He had a reward fund out on him. Okay. And it was a neighbor who saw him cutting his lawn, basically, that said, hey, that guy looks like the dude. And picked up the phone and said, hey, I think the guy that's wanted is over here.
Matter of fact, he had been wanted so long that the people that were going to pick him up were so young they had no idea who he was, and he was the number 1 guy on the FBI's most wanted list.
Right, there you go.
And he was an old man, and they're like, "We're going to get Whitey Bulger." The head of the people that were in charge of seeing it, they're like, "We're going to get Whitey Bulger," and they're like, "Who's Whitey Bulger?" And it's like, he's been on the FBI's most wanted list forever, and they're like, they had no idea how dangerous that guy was. But like you said, the reward fund, I mean, there was a huge reward offered. It's just so weird. I mean, I'm sure that I'm sure that reward funds have been paid out before, but have you personally ever heard of one?
I mean, no. I mean, I know with, there are some things in combat, through looking for, remember the cards with all the top wanted, folks from Saddam Hussein, where they put their pictures on the cards and they threw it out into the villages and stuff. And, and just think about this, right? This is it's actually kind of interesting. They had bounties, right? $2 million for, certain people. And they put them up in the mountains in Afghanistan. And, they're looking at these, the amount, right? And what the conversations are. So how many horses can we buy with this?
Right.
It's like, it's got to fit the scenario. And in the United States, when we put money like that out there, it's a good motivator for people to think about wanting to talk. But the people that really know about, the sensitivity of this, why hasn't grandma grabbed it? Go collect the $74,000, grandma.
Oh, no, Chris, you can't do that. She'd end up in jail too.
We'll see.
She's about the most uninterested grandma. I don't want to be, I don't even want to be negative.
No, you're not being negative. And I hear where you're coming from, and we're not going to be.
It just drives me. It just bothers me. It flat out bothers me. I mean, like I said, I was a kid whose parent discarded them like trash. Never a thought, never a what's going to happen to my kids. And that's what's going on with Summer. She's an afterthought. She's a, she's just, it's just, you know, it just drives me nuts, and it does bother me. So I gotta not try to be as critical, but like I said, I just know that they've just completely. She's just an afterthought, man. And she didn't even ask, and like nobody asked to be born into this world, but they do ask to be taken care of when people decide to bring kids into the world by their actions, and you have responsibilities towards those children, and they're just not met. And whether it be a grandma, an aunt, a sister, a brother, everybody needs somebody. And it doesn't feel as though poor Summer got that. And, you know, that's why I hope whoever did this goes down in a major way.
Well, Candace will come at some point to realize that she'll want to do the right thing at some point, because she's told us. She said it. I want to do the right thing. I want to tell him what happened. And so guess what? That's been on her mind for quite some time. So what is she doing? She's fighting that impulse. And one way of doing that, what we're seeing right now, is she's hiding out. And she believes internally, well, if I run from this long enough, then it'll go away. But what she's not thinking through the problem is when Don gets back, and Don's back, you know, wherever he goes, maybe he doesn't get back in time, then she's going to now be living with, you know, consciousness of guilt in relationship to what I should have told. And at some point, there's going to be, you know, a process that's going to unfold internally for her. And you're already seeing it already take its course through its meltdown process. You've seen it with, you know, who she's associating with, and, you know, who she's been talking to, you know, and all these other people. And so she's already been processing about how I can tell. And what I'm hoping is if we can sit down again, and even if she told me, I would encourage her, number one, to not tell me. I would say, you know, turn it into the authorities first. But if that's not an option, then, you know, we can also, you know, work through this idea that says, okay, well, you know, if this is what happened, then I'll walk her personally into the office in Hawkins County and say, Candace needs to speak with you. And I'll do that, you know, I'll do that personally.
Yeah. I mean, that is a fantastic offer. And I know that you just want to, we just, you know, we want to help. That's it. Yeah, there's nothing more to it, really. It's just it's just a tragic story. The same thing, you know, and I think about, you know, I saw your show on Wednesday about D Warner, and, you know, it feels like that case is getting some traction, and people don't even know what's going, like, you know, and most of the way it's just, but what you guys presented, if I was a district attorney and you guys said, we got this, I said, yeah, go ahead. You got your arrest warrant. And, you know, why is he not arrested?
Great question.
I mean, it blows my mind. I really do hope that there's some method to this madness, because in the D Warner case, there's a lot more known than the Summer Wells case. And there's a whole bunch of incriminating circumstantial and physical evidence against this man. And he needs to be arrested.
Yeah, no, I mean, it needs to be. And by the way, he's much more diabolical than Candace or Don or anybody else involved in this other
Right.
problem. The thing with the shifting back to Candace real fast in that vein, it is really important to remember that our system is such it's so malleable sometimes. I mean, you've got Maya Miliete's Larry's family is suing Maya's family. Okay, I mean, do the math on that. Their son is in jail for murder, and the father of the son,
Denied bail, by the way.
denied bail, is suing the victim's family. And it hasn't even been adjudicated yet. Do you know what that is? That's smoke and mirrors. Anticipating that they can get some information out to the jurors, okay, and flush it so that it doesn't impact their son. That's what that is.
Right.
Okay? Now, any judge in their right mind should be able to evaluate that and say, well, there's no real grounds here. Okay, so have a great day. But the fact that it's being even up in the environment right now, it's problematic. It's problematic, and this is where the same mentality of and to Candace's credit, she's like, well, why do I need a meteor? Okay, is that what she says? Right, meteor. I've listened to it on your channel.
Meteor, yeah.
Okay, so to her credit, she's right. Because it just convolutes what takes place, evident of the fact that we just got a letter from Don through jail.
He's trying to say that he's the meteor for our family, but I don't. Well, why do you need a meteor for my family? Like,
Good question.
You see, and that's a sincere statement.
Nobody has explained it to her.
Right. But that you see, she's sitting
real. Yeah.
right. And by the way, people underestimate them. They're very street smart, the two of them.
I did too. Even at first, I really did. I'm like, oh, come on. Like, they've been around the block a time or two. They've dealt with the system a time or two. Officials, they've done bids. They've been around.
Yeah, I mean, Candace was a carnival barker.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember the old remember in Chevy Chase and Cousin Eddie?
Yeah.
How are the kids? You're right. Oh, Jody, whoever is throwing pixie dust at the Tilt-A-Whirl. Okay. And Candace is barking for the yak lady next year. Okay, so the idea there is this idea. Well, yeah, Don's barking for the yak lady, and all of that principle, right? I mean, you just take it and you apply it over here, and you go, "This is exactly what we're seeing." And if you look at D. Warner, and you look at Barry Morphew, to getting back to your point, those two are carbon copies.
Oh,
absolute carbon copies. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
And now I hear that Larry is going for some psychological testing to see if he's competent to stand trial.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, whatever happened to like, I don't know, owning up to the things that you've done, and they're awful things. And by the way, the only people that really, truly, I know that, a jury, when they look at the evidence, I think he's cooked, but that's just my opinion. That the evidence is crazy, just like in the D. Warner case. And I know that a lot of it's circumstantial, but I love circumstantial evidence. I love it because it's, and I think Billy said it this way, it's kind of like just puzzle pieces. Not everything is going to be a smoking gun. You don't always have a smoking gun, but you certainly have shady actions. I mean, jurors love that kind of stuff.
They do.
They love it. And you've testified in so many different trials, you know what they like. And when you start laying that circumstantial evidence out in front of them, it's easy to understand. Why would he do that? Oh, he's not acting right. Now, in a cumulative state, it can be very damaging. Scott Peterson, circumstantial evidence, cooked his goose. I know they put him on death row. He got that overturned. Now he's a lifer. But, you know, hey, Scott, what are you doing out in the middle of the bay the day your wife goes missing? And then then she just happens to show up at said bay a few months later. What are you doing?
It's a coinkydink.
Big time.
It's a big time coinkydink.
And the thing is, it's not even like it was just like down the street. Like it was like an hour or so away. You know, these circumstantial evidence cases are like I said, it's all there. But now Larry, being, you know, the scumbag that he is through and through, will not accept responsibility for what he's done. I mean, they charged him with murder, no bail. Even the judge was like, yeah, you know, there's enough he's a dangerous guy. Don't let him out. You know how rare that is? I heard of a mother just 2 months ago, trigger warning. She killed like 3 of her kids and they gave her a $6 million bail. When I say she's accused of it, I'm sorry. She's accused of killing 3 of her children, along with one of her other children. And they gave her, I don't know if she made bail. That's a huge bail. But the fact is that she got one. So this judge is looking at this guy, go, he's nuts. We can't let him out. And so to get a no bail is pretty incredible.
But just about every murder back in the day was no bail.
Well, so
just the charges alone of 187 in California, anyway. But I don't know what it today. Huh?
You remember Robert Durst?
Yeah.
So in the documentary, The Jinx, it was an HBO special. It's like a 5-part. It's fascinating stuff, but you know, he's a nutbag. God rest his soul. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, you know, peace. This guy, they asked him. So he was charged with murder in Texas, Galveston, Texas. I forget the man's name. Morris Black, where he killed him and then dismembered his body and threw it in the bay or the ocean or what. I think it was the bay. And for some reason, he didn't understand that when you put stuff in bags like that, it's going to float. They found him and they charged him. And they said, your bail's $250,000 or $1 million or whatever. And he goes, what do you mean? Oh yeah. Bail. And he goes, do you have enough to bail out? And he goes, yeah. They said, well, you know, you 250,000 cash bail. And he goes, yeah, let me call my parents. Right. So he runs after he bails out. Then they catch him and they go, why did you run? He goes, I didn't even know they let people out that are charged with murder. Why wouldn't I run?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like
dead serious about the whole thing. What else are you going to do? That's what he said. What are you going to do? He took off. And it was so blunt about it. And that's why he goes, I didn't think that when you're charged with, in his weird little voice, it's like, I didn't think that when you were charged with murder that you were even offered bail. Seymour sent me the money right away. Seymour sent me the money. And he's just crazy stuff. But, you know, I hope that answers are coming in these cases. Michael, Vaughn, Brandy, I saw Brandy in here earlier, and we're with you.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm so glad that you're setting them up, and what an answer to prayer that is. That I mean, these guys are top notch, and any help, please just take all the help that they're going to give you, because they're going to do fantastic. They're just going to work as hard as they can to help you, along with Chris, and I'll do whatever I can as well. And like you said, don't give up hope. But Chris, thank you so much for being here. You've had a heck of a day. Your show was fantastic, as always. And always remember,
What
it's
kind
not
of
your
sauce would
first
you
rodeo.
like? What kind of sauce would you like?
You know, I love that picture. And
I do
yeah,
too.
it's been a great day. And of course, it's always great being invited over here, brother.
Thank
We
you so much.
appreciate you. And, God bless and thank you for finding my old photographs at the library.
Yeah.
I could not have done it without you. So have a blessed evening. And that's my favorite, actually. Ellen looks so good in that picture.
You guys have the same haircut.
And I look like Ricky Schroeder in
Yeah.
that picture. So
That's true.
let's roll. Aloha, everybody.
You look like
Hit
Magnum
that subscribe
PI
button.
He shaved his
Okay.
mustache. Love you, buddy.
All right, bud.
Thank
See you in a bit. Aloha.
I have nothing.
And there it is, folks. Sunday night Sundown with Chris McDonough. Always a pleasure. Thank you, guys. And I saw Teresa donated 5 memberships. Teresa, thank you so much. One of our fantastic mods. You guys are always so awesome. Thank you all. Let me see here. I just want to make sure. So there was a question. Okay, hold on. Here, let me answer this. Well, he's gone, so I can't answer. Chris, can you say if Candace Wells' car route to search for Summer was retraced, why did she drive? You know what? I'll have him answer this question on the next one. Annabella, I'm sorry about that. I do apologize. And let's see, donating to this awesome chat for memberships to the lab. Love this community. So we'll hand out some more on the next show. Thank you everybody who did that. And thank you, Serena, for becoming a member.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There's not, really?
I'm your host, Joshua Diaz. Thank you for being here.
But I have to put her on the side and where
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There's not, really? It is to me. Right. Idiot.
I've done my best. It's hard, it's real tough.
But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my boys and my kids.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
Live from the NBD Production Studios, you're in the lab with your host, Joshua Diaz.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There's not, really? It is to me. But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys. But I have to.
There is no investigation.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
But I have to put her. But I have to put her on the side and worry about the boys.